All right, here we are starting another day. This time we're going from Williams up to Kingman, Arizona, about 190 miles. Got a couple of stops along the way, so a nice, easy day. I think this was my favorite day on Route 66, as we got off of I-40 and got onto the old Route 66 highway and rode into Seligman. Again, about 85 miles, and it just winds through the desert, and it's beautiful scenery, and it's just nice and calm, what you would think old Route 66 would be like. But once we got into Seligman, well, there was all of the old roadside attractions that you would also expect on Route 66. All right, so here we are. We made it now to Seligman. So we're going to walk around, go into Angel and Vilma's Route 66 gift shop and see what else they have in town. Seligman is filled with all of those fun, silly, tacky things again that you would think would be out here on Route 66. It's basically just a big tourist trap, but it's also a lot of fun. So here in Seligman, there is just a lot of cool old shops that have been here for quite a long time. We got Road Relics right here. There's Juan's Snow Cone right over there. That is really cool just to walk around. They're closed right now. We're here early in the morning. And then of course you have Angel and Vilma's gift shop, which we went in and I grabbed myself a sticker. Route 66, right? There they are, right over there. And then there is the Roadkill Cafe right down the street, which a lot of people told me we need to go into. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to walk down to the Roadkill Cafe and check it out. As it turned out, the Roadkill Cafe was a little bit farther away than we thought it was. So we walked down the street a little bit, got some pictures of, again, some more really interesting and fun things before getting back on the bikes and heading to the Roadkill Cafe for a late breakfast. So we just finished having brunch in the Roadkill Cafe in Seligman, Arizona, and I'm gonna have to think about it, but I'm pretty sure somebody's getting bumped out of the top 5. After leaving Seligman, we got back on Route 66 and traveled another 80 or 85 miles into Kingman, Arizona. Hi, so we had a great ride from Seligman out through the desert, about, I don't know, 85 miles or something, I think it was. Just, I think it's a beautiful area. It's very stark, you know, kind of barren looking, but I think there's a beauty in it myself. But anyway, we are here in Kingman now, and we're going into the Powerhouse Visitor Center, which I understand is a pretty nice museum here along Route 66. The Powerhouse Visitor Center in Kingman, Arizona is definitely one of the better museums along the route. They've done an excellent job of taking you through the horse and buggy days, into the Depression, and through the heyday of Route 66 before it lost popularity as the interstate highway systems were built. So when we first got here, there was nobody at this sign, and we were going to drive the bikes through and take our pictures. But now there's a line, so we'll forget it. Okay, so now we are up above Kingman, and what mountain is this up here?
Wallapai Mountain.
Wallapai Mountain. So this is Rick and this is Russ. They came out to see Kevin and I on this trip, and we just had an amazing dinner here up on the mountain. Rick, thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Yes.
And Rick is actually going to take our camping equipment while we're with the wives, so that is another big help. So. All right, so thank you again very much. We really appreciate it. All right, we're up after having a great day yesterday riding Route 66 from Seligman. I don't know how you pronounce the damn thing. And here to where the hell are we? I don't even remember where we are. We're in King something, what is it? Kingman, Arizona. Getting old. So we're in Kingman here, and as we said last night, Rick took all of our stuff, all of our camping stuff. So I've got a lot of extra space here in the trailer. So tonight or today, what I'm going to do is empty all this stuff out, reorganize it a little bit, and then we'll have all of this empty space so that when the ladies are with us, we can throw coats and helmets and things in here as we go to the different national parks and so forth. So Russ is going to ride with us today for a bit, at least up to Boulder City, and then we'll see what he does from there. So welcome, Russ.
Thank you.
Good to have you along.
Much better than working.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people like to know what all the folks ride when they come along with us. So what are you riding today, Russ?
It's a 2014 Victory Vision.
Which should be very familiar to all the people who've been watching my channel for a while. Very nice bike.
Thank you.
There's Kevin in the background. After leaving Kingman, we rode straight to Boulder City, Nevada, where we found breakfast at the world-famous Coffee Cup Cafe. I had the Texas omelet. After breakfast, next up on the list was Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. Because, well, it was right down the street, and that's the kind of thing we were doing on this trip. Well, we did it. We went into Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. It was fun. Silly, corny, but it was a lot of fun. Especially like me, you're a fan of the old horror movies. Alright guys, so I think here I need to stop this video and get you caught up with what's happened over the last, I think 10 days or so. You see, after we left Tom Devlin's Monster Museum, we decided to go to see the Hoover Dam. And that's when things, well, started going a little bit sideways. When we got here, we came in and parking was pretty easy. They have motorcycle parking up front, so that was nice and easy. But then we get down here and they have security, of course, which is understandable. So we, of course, have to take our motorcycle boots off because there's metal all over them, steel shanks in them. So you know what a pain in the butt it is to take off your boots and then rebuckle them. So we did that. And then poor Kevin, he forgot that he had a pocket knife in his pocket. So he had to go all the way back to the bikes and drop off his pocket knife. And then come running back down the stairs and, of course, take off his boots before he could go into security. And then when we got in there, finally, we found out that it was an hour-and-a-half wait until the next tour that we could get on. So, no thank you, we're not waiting here an hour and a half. So we took the power plant tour, which was interesting, but it's a much shorter tour. So probably worked out better that way. So anyway, we're just out here and we're just walking on the dam right now. All right, so now we're walking across Hoover Dam. You can see there's the Colorado River down there in the background. So it's quite an amazing structure. Let's see, it's the largest dam in the Northern Hemisphere, I believe. Now that little mix-up at the Hoover Dam really was no big deal in the overall scheme of things. However, it was a little bit of a foreshadowing of things yet to come. Because as we pulled into Las Vegas, we're about 2 miles away from our hotel, and my bike starts to overheat. Yes, the red numbers went all the way up to the top on my engine heat, and the big red warning flash was going off. So we pulled over the side of the road to let it cool. Okay, first drama of the trip. We're in Vegas now, and it's about 108 degrees. And of course, we're stop and go traffic trying to get to our hotel, the Tuscany Casino. And the bike overheats, starts flashing red. So it didn't stop on me or anything, but starts warning me. So we'll pulled over right now, letting the bike cool down a little bit before we continue on. We're only about 2 miles away from the hotel. So after letting the bike cool for a little bit, we got back on, made it those 2 miles to the hotel where we tried to check in. Well, I got checked in, but Kevin, he had a little bit of a problem. All right, so let me finish off this day because that is not all of the drama that we had today. And I always hesitate to tell you guys this kind of stuff because as a guy who's lived 60 plus years, I know, and I know that most of you know, that shit happens and you just have to deal with it, even though sometimes you don't like it. So I am here at the Tuscany Casino, and I've got a pretty nice room here. I got what's called an executive suite, so that when my wife comes, we're very comfortable together. Over here, we've got a nice king-size bed. We've got a great big shower over there. We've got a kitchen area, and we've got a little seating area over here. So everything actually is very nice. The problem is that Kevin and his wife are not here with us in this hotel. When we got here, I checked in and they got me a room, but when Kevin went up, they said, well, we're sorry, but you're number one. You're the first guy to get bumped today. Because apparently they overbooked the hotel by some 80 rooms. Apparently there's some big flag football event in town. 7-man flag football, and there's a bunch of high school kids apparently taking up a lot of the rooms in town. And some sales manager decided that he would overbook the hotel. So I guess Kevin got booted because of the kind of room they got. They got a little bit cheaper room than we did, and so that probably was filled by the kids, playing football and so forth. So anyway, that was not a very enjoyable time. We had to yell a little bit and then make sure, because we're planning on coming back here again in 2 weeks. So we said, hey, look, this isn't going to happen again, is it? So they made sure that they booked our rooms already, and they blocked them out and said they put do not change on them, so we're going to get our rooms when we come back here again. Because the plan was to leave some of the luggage that the ladies are bringing here at the hotel, and then just come back and pick it up again. So anyway, Kevin is over at another hotel, and in the end, he's getting comped for the night. So he will get his nights free. So I guess for him, that is actually a good thing in the long run, even though it is a bit of a pain in the ass when you run into these kind of situations and you have to deal with them. But sometimes you just do. Now, you saw me in that little clip there being nice and calm and collected and level-headed about what was going on with the bike and with the hotel. But see, at that time, I thought what was going on with the bike was just a fluke. As we pulled into Vegas and it was 110, and we even saw temperatures as high as 114 that day. So we just figured, being in stop-and-go traffic, the bike got a little bit hot. We had to let it cool off. So, didn't think about it too much. The girls came in, we had a good dinner, spent some time together, and got ready to head up to St. George the following day. Up early this morning, time to wash some clothes. Kathy gets in here in about 2.5 hours. Look who's here.
Hi, everybody.
Now you get to have Kathy for the next 2 weeks.
Woo!
We are here. We're together. We're in Valley of Fire State Park in Nevada, and have just entered here, but it's a little warm, huh?
It's hot. I just put on my cool vest, though. That's gonna help.
I'm stopping to cool down a little bit.
Well, I'm a fair-haired Irish girl. Well, half.
Yeah, that lives in Massachusetts but never gets any sun. So.
Cheers.
See, Cheryl's trying to run away from me. So but Cheryl's here, Kevin's here, we're all here, right? And then out there, Valley of Fire. All right, stopped in we went through the Valley of Fire, and we stopped in Overton, grabbed a little lunch, and cooled off. It's only like 107 today. It's not really that big of a deal.
Holy moly.
So, but we're going to jump back on the bikes now and see if we can hoof it to St. George, find some air conditioning. All right, we just can't catch an effing break today. We're going up, we get all the way through the Valley of Fire. Beautiful, stop and have some lunch. And we get back on the interstate. We've got 46 miles to go. And they bring everything down to one lane, and it's just completely backed up. And by the way, nobody's working.
It's too hot to work.
Well, and of course, the goddamn BMW starts to get hot and flash. Like, I got nowhere to go. So I get into the breakdown lane to keep moving, to try to get some air over it. And so we can get through the jam, which we finally did, and we pulled off. And now we're going to let it cool down for a while, let us cool down, and see. So this keeps up. If I can't ride in hot weather in this damn BMW, then this is the one and only trip it will ever take. So here we are again. We got out of that last mess, stopped, let the bike cool down, got something to drink, jumped back on the interstate, crossed over in Arizona, and they've got a fucking bridge out. And I'm going to use the word this time. But so we're stopped here in the only shade that's available under an overpass, and I think we're going to take the back way into town now. It's a little bit farther, but I think at least we'll be able to keep moving. So good morning, coming to you from St. George, Utah. We are at some good friend's house here in St. George. And the morning looks a little bit nicer now with the sun coming up and beautiful colors and things over the hills here in St. George. But we had a tough day yesterday with the heat, primarily that we got stuck in some traffic. I mean, really the only way to get up here from Vegas is on I-15, and they had two road construction areas. Neither one anybody was working at. It was just too hot to be out there, but they're blocking the interstate highway, taking it down to one lane in a couple of different places, and just wasn't good for the motorcycles, for my BMW. So we moved over into the breakdown lane to keep moving, and even that just didn't help a whole lot. It allowed us to get off of the highway basically, but the bike started yelling at me, telling me that it was getting too hot. So again, we just moved over into the breakdown lane until we could get off the highway. And the last time, as you saw in the previous little video, we were stopped under an overpass, let the bike cool, and then we got off the highway. We got onto a road called 91 that enabled us to take some back roads into St. George, and then just keep moving. And then the bike seemed to be fine once we did that. Also, the temperatures dropped quite a bit. Went from about 114, which is, I think, the highest that Kevin saw on his bike. Mine was around 113 something, and we got down into the low hundreds, 103 or so, as we were going through the canyons in here to St. George. So today it's actually supposed to be hotter, but we're not going anywhere. And then after that, we're hoping that things cool down a little bit, and also we're going to be heading up to Zion, Bryce, Grand Canyon, and up there it's a lot cooler, it's a lot higher elevation. So we just checked yesterday, and we're looking at temperatures in the 80s and even in the 70s up at the Grand Canyon, the north rim of the Grand Canyon. So, all right, we're gonna hang out, go see the city here today, and then basically that's it. And we'll be back on the road tomorrow.